This begins part 2, including the climate portion of the report, by Kitty Couture. And this is the second part of her Nebraska Starline Tour state report. Sun or snow? Nebraskans like to say that if you do not like the weather, wait 5 minutes and it will change. Nebraskans live through the sweltering heat and bitter cold, but average temperatures are not so extreme because the weather varies every year. In July, it is averaged to about 77 degrees Fahrenheit, although in January the typical temperature is 23 degrees Fahrenheit. A stretch of summer days can be well over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and a winter cold snap can plunge to -2 degrees Fahrenheit. The record temperature was 118 degrees Fahrenheit and -47 degrees Fahrenheit. Most of Nebraska's rainfall occurs from April through September. Sudden changes in weather and hot and cold spells are ordinary. All these sudden changes can lead up to some trouble. Nebraskans say that they have more than their share of wicked weather. They suffer through blizzards, thunderstorms, windstorms, hailstorms, dust storms, and tornadoes. Nebraska gets more hailstorms than anywhere in the country. Sometimes the hailstones are as large as golf balls. During the spring and summer, thunderstorms break out. Other times the thunderstorms are so heavy that the river overflows their banks, flooding farms and towns. In dry years, dust storms swirl through all of Nebraska. The dust clouds can be so thick that they cannot see the car ahead of them. I advise you to go during fall, but it will still be super fun. And this is the climate map to go with that. Again, hand-drawn. Well done. Nice descriptive doodle at the top. Bring the green. This is the economy essay, long essay. Nebraska is an unknown economic powerhouse that has thrived as long as anyone could remember. To prove it, Nebraska was one of the main states that helped America out of the Great Depression. The Cornhusker State has a wide variety of businesses in its economy. It starts from tourism and travels all the way to agriculture. These industries make Nebraska a unique area to be in. For many years, agriculture has been the big thing in Nebraska. However, now it is the service industry that brings the most green to the state. Omaha is the head of Nebraska's economy. One of the successful companies is Berkshire Hathaway, a large investment company founded by Warren Buffett. Omaha also has a large toll-free calling system which gives the city the nickname 1-800 Capital of the World. Besides the service industry, there is also manufacturing industry. Food products are the leading factory goods. Two of the main goods are meat and grain. Butchers cut up meat and package it for sale. Other manufacturing products include chemical and machinery plants. Chemical plants produce medicines, fertilizers, and bug sprays. At the machinery plants, they make tractors, plows, and cars. Boy, that is a lot of work. The Cornhusker State is Nebraska's state nickname because corn is Nebraska's leading crop. It is actually the third corn producer after Illinois and Iowa. The husker part of the nickname means to shuck the ears of the corn. Since Nebraska provides so much of the country's grain and corn, Nebraska gets another nickname, the breadbasket. This nickname is not official, though. Farms and ranches cover 95% of Nebraska. No other state devotes so much of its land to agriculture. Another top farming product is livestock. Cattle bring about 2/3 of Nebraska's farming income. The cattle graze around the plains and fields that cover Nebraska. The livestock process begins with the ranchers. The ranchers raise the cattle until they are about 6 to 8 months old. Then the ranchers ship the livestock to farmers called feeders who feed the cattle with grain and corn until the livestock are large in size. Then the cattle are brought to the livestock markets and sold. In Nebraska, there are many interesting and tourist-friendly areas to visit. Did you know that in 2005, tourists spent $3 billion buying souvenirs? But it is not the souvenirs that make Nebraska so special. It is the attractions. A few attractions are Carhenge and Kool-Aid Museum. The Carhenge in Alliance, Nebraska attraction is a sculpture entirely made of junked cars stacked together. The Kool-Aid Museum, Hastings, Nebraska, is a museum entirely about Kool-Aid. Well, why? Because Kool-Aid was invented there. I could go and on about the places you could visit, but by the time I finish, I would be an ancient figure. Mining is a small industry in Nebraska. Every year, the mining industry provides less than 1% of Nebraska's revenue. The top products are oil, sand, and gravel, crushed limestone, and clay. Sand and gravel are useful for making concrete for roads and sidewalks. Cement is made from the crushed limestone, while clay is used to make bricks and pottery. The next time you visit the U.S., next time you visit the U.S., don't forget to stop by Nebraska and check out Carhenge or the Cool Aid Museum. And here's an economy map, which includes very nice detail work. And it's cute. It's got a little guy with money on the $1 million bill, and he's got a spectacle or a monocle. Of course, why wouldn't they? Everyone's got to have the monocle if they're on the dollar bill or the $1 million bill. The last stop. This is the conclusive paragraph. The last stop. This is our last stop, the borderline airport. Through the past few days, I have shared with you so much about Nebraska, but there is still much more to discover and learn. I would like to experience the sights from the highest peak of Chimney Rock and the silkiest sand on the banks of Lake McConaughey. Together we have traveled from the prairies of golden wheat to the cities filled with skyscrapers. Nebraska is not the most popular, nor the most wealthy, but it will always have a special place in our hearts. The diverse people living here share the same sweet smell of fresh air and wonders from the rooftops of the tallest skyscrapers. We have finally found the perfect place to enjoy and prosper in. Now, this is Appendix, meaning everything that Couture did that I did not require. The timeline I didn't require, but these are some other things that could fit in other places. Here's our tourism map. Toadstool Park, Badlands, Sandhills, Chimney Rock, Oregon Trail, Panorama Point, the Great Archway River Road Monument, Lake McConaughey, Nebraska National Forest, Platte River, that's a nice little drawing, Harold Warp Pioneer Village, Nebraska State Capitol, which is Lincoln, Homestead National Monument of America, Henry Dorley Zoo, the College Baseball World Series, and the Lewis and Clark campsite right here. This is an idea I never came up with. This is very clever. The photo album. Henry Dorley Zoo and Chimney Rock. These are okay to be printed, of course, because obviously it's a photo album. And the state capitol. This is part of the zoo, and this is Lake McConaughey. It looks like the beach at the ocean, doesn't it? This is an analysis of Nebraska state flag. Wow, she drew it twice. Once in the front and once in the back. Nebraska state flag features a state seal with color. It is displayed on a field of Copenhagen blue. In 1925, this design was adopted on a banner, but it was not until 1963 that the design became the official state flag. Page 18. An analysis of Nebraska state seal, hand-drawn again. Nebraska state seal has symbols which represent its economy and major historical events. In the city, or in the center, is a blacksmith with a hammer. He symbolizes Nebraska's mastering in the mechanical arts. There is also a cabin with farming grounds. This represents Nebraska's agriculture. On the top of the picture is a banner which has Nebraska's state motto, Equality Before the Law. The picture is surrounded with the title and the date Nebraska became a U.S. state. All right, I'm going to have to make this part of part 2. What is on Nebraska's menu today? Ruben sandwiches. It is said that Ruben Kulakowski invented these sandwiches in Omaha. One night in 1925, some men were playing poker in Omaha's Blackstone Hotel. They got hungry and asked the grocer to send over some food. He threw together some sandwiches with corned beef, Swiss cheese, and some sauerkraut on rye bread. The sandwich got so popular that the owner of the hotel put it on the menu and named it after the grocer. Eskimo pies. Christian Nelson invented these ice cream sandwiches. He wanted to call them ice cream bars, but once he developed it, he could not get anyone to manufacture it. At last, when he took the idea to Russell Stover, a candy maker in Omaha, Stover decided to manufacture it, but Stover changed the name to Eskimo Pie. State drinks. Nebraska got two new and tasty symbols in the year 1998. Milk was officially claimed the state beverage, and Kool-Aid became the official state soft drink. Popcorn. Who does not like a warm handful of freshly popped popcorn? Nebraska, is being a big sports area and corn producer, is an important popper and producer of this treat. Yet popcorn was not invented in Nebraska. One tip every Nebraskan says is, just go easy on the salt and butter. Corn, and cornbread. What is a better snack to represent the Cornhusker State than cornbread? Cornbread is just one of the many corn snacks that all the Nebraskans love. They munch on cornbread, popcorn, corn dogs, cornflakes, corn muffins, corn chowder, and last but not least, just plain old corn on the cob. Anyways, a 2004 survey said that most Nebraskans love cornbread because it's an easy and healthy snack to enjoy. Let's take a look at the biography page. VIP bios. Let's start with the giver. It isn't every day when some rich entrepreneur decides to give most of their fortune away. Well, if you were Warren Buffett, you would. Omaha's home native, Buffett, founded Berkshire Hathaway, a large investment company. Warren decided he would donate $37 billion to charity. That is 3/4 of his fortune. We know one thing for sure, he is a role model to all. Kool-Aid. Edwin Perkins, the inventor of Kool-Aid. Perkins invented the powdered drink mix in 1927 in Hastings, Nebraska. The mix was made by accident as a school chemistry product. Perkins decided the people would love it, so he named it Kool-Aid. The manufacturer then changed it to what we know today. If you ever think about Nebraska, think Kool-Aid. The White House. After Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford stepped in and became the 38th president. Prior to him serving the 40th as the vice president, Gerald lived all his childhood in Nebraska. As a president, he did some extraordinary things. One thing he did was I can't read it. Was keep the Vietnamese from reinvading. Ford is the only Nebraska native that was ever in the White House. Your humble servant, activist, educator, political, and spiritual leader, Ruben Snake is remembered as an important part of the American Indian movement. His life story is a retelling of the most major events and conditions affecting Native Americans. He experienced what many young Indians have suffered: schools that punish children for speaking their native language, and unemployment. Snake overcame these obstacles to become one of the most effective and inspirational leaders of his time. After the menu, here's a poem. The Dream of Reality, written by Kitty Couture. The eye of America is Nebraska, the centerpiece to bond the 50 states together. What makes U.S. the best? Nebraska. Nebraska leads America to being the united country that it is. From the hills to valleys to mountains and plains, Nebraska is forever the dream of reality. Nice poem. Bibliography. So she only had one book that she used to craft all of this. That was Henricks and Nebraska, New York, Scholastic, 2008.